I wanted to tell a little bit of a different story today. There were two stories that came out today that I found very interesting. One about the massive success of Larian and all the profit that they have made since the release of Baldur's Gate 3. There is no doubt that it has been massive for the company. But beyond that, I also wanted to take a look at Casey Hudson's project, Humanoid Origins, which announced that it would be closing today. You might know Casey Hudson from Mass Effect. He was one of the leads and the creator of Mass Effect. He pitched it at a dinner to the doctors of BioWare, and it became a massive success. It's one of my favorite games of all time. We'll end on a positive note about a game from former BioWare people that I am excited about, but let's talk about this tale of two journeys, so to speak. Let's dive into it right now. First things first, let's have a little bit of a conversation about where Larian is currently. Long story short, Larian was about to go bankrupt, and in 2022, Larian was losing money. Now, they raked in $260 million in profit off of Baldur's Gate 3 in 2023, and obviously they're going to continue making games. They have publicly announced that they are not going to be making Baldur's Gate 4, whatever that may look like. And this story sort of dives into just how successful that game was for them. The Irish Independent, users may encounter a paywall, has reported that Larian has posted a 249 million pre-tax profit, not revenue, that is pure profit for 2023. That's almost 260 million freedom dollary dues for those of us without adequate digital privacy protections. The runaway success of Baldur's Gate 3 saw Larian increase its overall revenue almost 20-fold from 2022. That's what we call a war chest. Hopefully what Larian does is they take their next big bet, and they're going to continue making money from Baldur's Gate 3. And what I hope they do is they take their next big bet, they take their next big swing, and they have enough money in their savings, so to speak, so that they can have a little bit of a revenue miss. We have seen this from some companies. The Alan Wake 2 team, for example, has yet to see that game turn a profit, but they were willing to bet on something that they believed in, pay people for that amount of time, and turn a profit at a later date. And I respect that a lot in the development space. We're going to get into that more in just a second. Now, they brought in only 427 million in overall revenue last year, with the independent citing 15 million copies of Baldur's Gate 3, though Larian itself hasn't released precise sales numbers. In December of last year, Steam Spy estimated there were 20 million owners of the game on Steam alone, while Larian publishing director Michael, I believe it's Deuce, I'll look up how to say that, referred to Baldur's Gate 3 having way over 10 million players in February of this year. For its part, Dungeons & Dragons owner Hasbro took home a tidy 90 million in revenue for Baldur's Gate 3. This is all in contrast with a pretty quiet year for Larian in 2022. The company reported 22.7 million, 24 million in total revenue, with Larian actually operating at a $214,000 loss. It's a pretty stark reminder of how volatile the business of making games can be, with developers having to spend a great deal of money over a long period of time before hopefully making it all up and then some with a successful launch. And in this instance, they have made it all up and then some. And interestingly enough, Michael was actually just commenting on the current state of the industry. And here's what he shared recently. It's a funny thing, this inherent belief that you have to love an industry if you love the thing that you do. I don't know if footballers love FIFA. I don't know a single musician who loves the music industry. I've never met an artist who loves the art industry. You love the people, the process, the output, not the industry. Industry is a means to the end. Let's face it, the industrialization of expression is only tolerated because it is the only means by which to substantially express. Really weird vibes from people who love industry, just love all the pressures that get in the way of expression, Anyway, shower thought. What's really weird are people who love industry but don't like the output. But let's not go there. It is Tuesday. Very interesting insight from Cromwell over on Twitter. And I think it really speaks to how I have felt about the industry for so long. Most of my problems are with companies that are so busy chasing profit, chasing trends. Making $1 billion on Hogwarts Legacy wasn't enough. They needed all of the money at Warner Brothers, so they had to chase Suicide Squad, the shared looter shooter genre. And why does that happen? That happens because greedy executives need all of the money, not just most of the money. Now, one example where greed is not in the algorithm, so to speak, was with Humanoid Origin. It says, your journey begins. I'm covering it up with my camera. And this was their website. They announced today that they're not going to close. This was Casey Hudson's big project after BioWare. Just to give you a little more context, who we are, Humanoid Origin is a Canadian game development studio built on the axiom that creative freedom and independence lead to better, more innovative games. Unfortunately, they have been closed. Now, one thing about Hudson that I've always appreciated, and I do have the Mass Effect art books that have similar artistic examples to what we're about to look at. One thing I like about Casey is his taste in art. These are some of the concept art pieces that Humanoid Origin was targeting for whatever their game was going to be. This is art one from the website. This is obviously a diner setting, and you definitely get Mass Effect vibes. They think about everything. I have the collector's edition of Mass Effect, and you can actually go in and listen to commentary from all of the developers about these original games and where they were taking inspiration from. And it's just absolutely fascinating to learn from OG BioWare and see where their vision was and where they wanted to go with it. And you see a lot of that here in the Humanoid Origin concept art. You have another one here of some sort of figure that you're discovering on a planet. And clearly they wanted to make their version of the Mass Effect franchise. And I honestly was so excited about this game. I reached out about potentially being able to do some sort of preview or do some sort of something, and it just obviously fell through. And this is unfortunately the last piece of concept art that was posted when they made the announcement of its closure on LinkedIn. And if you just go over to LinkedIn here, it was posted alongside this message. Earlier today, we informed our staff that Humanoid Origin will be shutting down. Despite efforts to shield the studio from broader challenges in the industry, an unexpected shortfall of funding left us unable to sustain operations. We're heartbroken that we will not be able to bring our new science fiction universe to completion. Our main concern at this time, however, is for our team, and we are committed to supporting them in their transition to new employment. In our time together, the team achieved incredible progress and demonstrated that it's possible to do amazing work while fostering a culture of fun and creativity. We thank them for their talent, courage, and friendship. Thank you to everyone who supported us through our journey. It has to be a brutal day over there because this was started with all of the best intentions, and unfortunately, it ended up not working out in the long run. Back when Casey Hudson announced this in 2021, he said, "I've been working with some colleagues on something awesome, and I wish I could tell you all about it. Follow now, though. I can only say this. Today, we are announcing a new independent video game company built to unleash the creative freedom of developers, bringing innovation and artistry to players through an all-new IP. We are Humanoid Studios. This is the first tiny step in our journey, and we hope you'll come along with us on the adventure." There's a lot of cynicism in the gaming space right now, but I do have a lot of hope that there are more people out there like Casey Hudson who just want to make cool stuff, and they want to figure out how to do it in a sustainable manner that doesn't burn out developers and also creates a fantastic product for consumers, something that consumers are obviously quite hungry for. Now, I don't want to end the story on a downer. I was very excited about Casey Hudson's game, but there was one other offshoot of all of this BioWare stuff that has been happening, the mass exodus of employees. And actually, here's a trailer for Exodus. I ended up using the word in my lead into it. Basically, all former BioWare people went over to work on this game Exodus. And as you can see, it's another space adventure where you jump through portals, and that sends this character through time. And there was a love interest that he is trying to reconnect with, and they've been exploring that. They have a ton of content over on their YouTube, and my ears have definitely been perking up about this one. Now, I was very interested to see what Casey Hudson was going to do with his version of a new space opera, so to speak. But in the meantime, Exodus seems pretty far along. They have a whole bunch of commentary videos on their channel. They have a deep dive into lore. They have they have Drew Karpyshyn, one of the original writers of the Mass Effect trilogy, working on this. So I have to wonder and hope, can some of the people over at Humanoid Origin at least help take Exodus across the line and make another space opera vision come to be true, while their own has to be put at least on pause for the time being. I was excited about Hudson's vision. I'm excited about Exodus, and I'm very happy that Baldur's Gate 3 and Larian were able to see success. I hope that more places are able to take big bets and see success. We've seen it with Helldivers. We saw it with Black Myth Wukong. I would even say the Space Marine team was taking a pretty big gamble on releasing Space Marine 2, and it paid off big time. Pal World is taking a big gamble in making something that would even resemble the Pokemon franchise. And obviously Nintendo was trying to put a stop to that because only Nintendo can throw a ball at things and capture it. I don't know if I really have a point with this video. I did want to cover off on the two news stories and just sort of wax melancholy, or whatever you want to call it, about the current state of the industry. And when I see people who are out there trying to make pure experiences that aren't trying to gouge your wallet, I really respect that. And I'm seeing that with Exodus. I was seeing it with Humanoid Origin, and I obviously see it with Larian. Larian's been tremendously supportive of Baldur's Gate 3, the fandom, and everything that has transpired since. So those are the two stories today. Thanks for allowing me to ramble a little bit about one of my favorite studios, another one of my favorite studios, and a new studio that is coming to be with the Exodus studio. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about those games and the studio closure and where everybody has gone. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I didn't do the promo in the middle. I was kind of like in a flow there. I didn't want to break it up. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you so much to the members. I updated this last night, so all the members should be accurate from the Sunday stream. On Sundays, like, I get a ton of members usually because sometimes Aries will just give me memberships. Thank you, Aries. And click that join button if you just want to support this. Like, this is why the channel is able to keep going. If you want to see something before I go, you can go actually see that PlayStation is making a real handheld, not like the Portal, like an actual PS5 on the go that you can play with. Check that out, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.